No Man's Sky Xeno Arena is here, a new update from Hello Games focusing on what is essentially Pokemon battles, but also not at all Pokemon battles illegally. Let's call them Zenomon, as that is completely different and sounds about right. This update is version 6.3 for No Man's Sky, and as far as No Man's Sky updates go, it's pretty small and super focused. What this update does is flesh out the existing companion system, allowing you to use them to battle NPCs and each other. You can battle other players on the Space Anomaly via its arena station found near Kronos. You can battle NPCs by going to space stations, trading posts and settlements, and interacting with the battle arena stations. When it comes to NPCs, they have a different ranking of sorts, mostly just two tiers. You have the ones found on planets that are the basic trainers, then the masters found on stations that will be harder to defeat. From the wording of the patch notes release, it would seem that the planet you find the trainer on will decide what Zenomon they fight with, which would mean Lush planet trainers will fight with Lush or Tropical Zenomon. It was also heavily implied that the masters found on stations will use Zenomon from biomes in that system. This means we can absolutely make specialist teams and setups to fight masters more easily by using star systems with limited biome pools. This is important as not only do the Zenomon have lots of different abilities, but the damage they do has types. And just like that well-known franchise, the types have strengths and weaknesses. For example, tropical damage is highly effective versus anomalous Zenomon, but weak versus mechanical Zenomon. So just as an example, were we to find a system with only exotic/anomalous worlds in it, we could stack tropical Zenomon and gank the master with ease. As of this moment, this is just theory crafting based on the wording of the patch notes. I have plenty of testing and experimenting to do with these features and to see whether this theory holds up, so make sure you're subscribed if you want the answers. Next I guess is why. What do you get for doing these Zenomon battles? For most of the NPCs, the short answer is to either enjoy the battle itself and or to increase the strength of your Zenomon, as while there are some rewards, they are largely just a few nanites or something. The main rewards are retroviral pellets, essentially power-up pills. Fighting with your Zenomon will, via these retroviral thingamadoodads, open up the genome of your Zenomon. This gives you some ability points of sorts to evolve them. These upgrades increase the combat effectiveness, agility and health of your Zenomon. Once a genome is fully unlocked, you can even change the abilities they have. For abilities there appear to be hundreds, but as a few examples they have got some interesting effects. First we have basic damage dealing ones like Pester. Pester is a tropical type damage ability. It does low damage, but this damage not only has a min and max, but also is affected by your Zenomon stats. My Zenomon Snuffles does 84 to 90 damage with Pester, while Wensleydale only does 65 to 70. The difference in their damage is likely due to their difference in the combat effectiveness stat, but others may also play into this. Some attacks have other effects, such as how Wild Swing, a physical damage type attack, does decent damage but has a negative modifier that reduces the hit chance by 50%. Then there's Solar Ray, which is a charge attack. By charging this attack for 4 rounds, it will deal 3 to 4 times that of a normal attack. Other abilities can fortify your stats, such as Zephyr, which increases your agility for 1 round by 121%. This could be very useful for making you super hard to hit when moves such as Solar Ray are about to hit. There are also abilities that remove negative effects from your Zenomon, others that remove positive effects from your enemy, a reflective shield ability that reflects a percentage of the incoming damage for several rounds, and even crazy ones like Sacrifice, which deals a huge amount of damage to you in order to buff the rest of your team. Now, while most battles won't give you much reward worth going for past training your Zenomon, which in most circumstances is enough really, there are some special companions to be rewarded with through the Arena League. Don't worry, this is not a PvP league, it's a set of challenges via the new Arena League faction. You can find your stats for this in the catalogue and guide section of the menu, and pinning the challenges will give you guidance toward completing them. These are 5 of the special Zenomon available through the faction league. There may even be the entire reward from that. I'm not sure just yet. There's the Corrupted Quadruped, the Geno Prawn, the Wandering Shrimp Tank, the Boundary Horror, and the Aeron Crab. They all look pretty epic. Talking about guidance, this is the newest Traveller addition to the iteration crew of the Anomaly, Oceanus. This fine chap will give you a good little tutorial of sorts, nothing in depth like what I've been talking about, just a light introduction to the systems. He'll also have a set team to battle against. a team that changes daily and will be the same for every player. Now, the primary stats on your Zenomon that seem to govern most things are combat effectiveness, agility and health. Health is the easiest, the more the better. It's unclear yet whether this bar on the stats screen is a flat health representative or a modifier plonked onto the base stats from type or something, but the more this goes up, the more health it has. The next most obvious is combat effectiveness, as this is essentially just attack and defense. The higher it is, the higher damage you'll do for the abilities, on top of the abilities base stats. I also expect this to affect things like sacrifice, where the higher this is, the less damage you do to yourself and higher the buff is to your comrades, but this is speculation at the moment. Lastly is agility, and while it's known that the agility stat makes you harder to hit, it's not obvious that this affects every move used against you. Just as one move, Barrage, specifically noted that the opponent's agility stat determines how well this hits, which implies that it is only the case when mentioned like this. Also in the patch notes release, it is mentioned that the size of your Zenomon can affect hit chance, saying that bigger Zenomon are easier to hit, which, while logical, could be a nightmare for balancing unless the increased size increases attack power in some way. So lots of testing required for this. A new view has been added for scanning fauna. Now, when you scan a fauna on a planet, it will show the potential its stats can have. This is pretty cool, as guesswork would have been a real son of a bitch here. So if these scanned stats are the maximum potential this fauna could grow to, I'm assuming that we can increase that further by genetic mutation, using the machine next to Kronos. It's a somewhat long process, but the basics of this are that you adopt the Xenomon from the wild, you then wait for it to be able to lay an egg, and once it does, take that egg to the gene sequencer on the anomaly. With that, you can use various resources and products to increase or decrease traits, which will increase or decrease the three main stats. My hope is that this is logical, not random, and increases the maximum potential of the stats that fauna can have. Proving or disproving this is going to take some time, and if anyone is experimenting with it, I'd super appreciate you letting me know of your findings either below or on Discord. One big surprise for me from this update is a lack of expedition. This is probably due to it being a bit tricky to make this into one, though I think it could be fine, just maybe not so special as you'd just be going from different places to fight folk, and let's not recall the horrendousness of having to find a specific fauna type for a milestone without any direction. Though having special Xenomons as rewards from expeditions would fit well, and will likely be something going forward. After all, we already have had companion rewards. Also, for those curious, no Twitch drops, this is a really small update really. For me, this feels like a way less niche bite beat, as if one or two devs were working on this in the background for a year or two as a super fun passion update of sorts. The Monday release of the emoji was also an interesting thing. It is very rare that we get an emoji after the weekend before. Obvious thoughts on this could be that they weren't 100%, it would be good for Wednesday until the Monday, so the emoji was late. Another are potential legal considerations, with Nintendo recently doing even worse in its lawsuit versus Palworld. That could have made this a great time to release with more press and less risk. Either way, I'm supremely happy to have companions be expanded upon. They felt to me like a pretty bit of nothing that I gathered and then never used again. More of these updates that bring depth and meaning to existing features is very good in my book. Right, there weren't only Xenomon things in this. First are the optimizations, and there's a fair few and they appear to be substantial. The first is a huge optimization for the Switch 2 that improves rendering performance by up to 15%. Tiled lighting has been implemented on PC, improving performance. I don't know what tiled lighting is, but it sounds like a good thing. More improvements to CPU performance for lighting, performance of huge player bases with lots of harvestable plants, and referencing your save files for inventory menus and other screens like companion registering. For quality of life and bug fixes, there's been a good few too. Fixed an issue that could cause the camera to rotate when standing on a Corvette. Fixed an issue that prevented interacting with modules on another player's Corvette. Fixed an issue that could cause asteroids to fade in and out erratically when first entering an asteroid field. Fixed an issue that caused the exploration log on some planets to include extinct species in the count of total discoverable fauna and flora. Fixed an issue that caused some Twitch or Expedition rewards to display as available at the Quicksilver Synthesis spot when they had already been redeemed in another shop interface. This is a tiny little annoyance, but I'm so glad they fixed it. It made my brain itch. And allowed the egg sequencer to access eggs stored in the freighter inventory. providing the freighter inventory is within range. This is really nice. I hope that includes the storage containers on the freighter, but I mean, freighter inventory itself is still good. Thanks everyone. I wish you luck in your quest to be the very best, like no one ever was.